Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Big Black American Secret. I'm your host, Daniel Jackson. I always wanted to say that. But anyway, welcome to the YouTube channel, The Big Black American Secret. Today, I would like to talk about something that I have been observing since the George Floyd's murder. Don't get me wrong, I've been observing it my whole life. But until now, I've not been able to, I don't analyze it. I think it's a good word for it. But basically, what the internet, social media, and stuff like that is allowing me to do is to gather large amounts of information in short periods of times. Sometimes purely by accident. You understand what I'm saying? So, and I'm finding this stuff very interesting, very eye opening. It's kind of taking me back to my early days. I don't know. I used to call myself a scientist. You know what I'm saying? I'm an electronic engineer by education, but I've always been a person who would tinker with things, try to figure shit out. When I was younger, it was a little bitty electronical devices and stuff like that. But anyway, my passion lately has been understanding this system of racism, white supremacy. Now, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing has a video, and it'll be in the description in this video. And I want you to watch that video by her because I'm going to tell you, when it comes to clarity on the subject of racism for black people, that video is a must. Her books are must. You understand what I'm saying? But here's what I'm getting to. There's a lot of talk about Terry Crews in online and in the media this week, right? And going back a few weeks, he's been saying some stuff that's been raising eyebrows, and stuff like that. So I got to thinking, patterns, right? So right after the killing of George Floyd, I noticed during the rioting and looting, and these are responses from black people. One of the responses that stood out to me the most, and it was contrary to the way I felt, and it was contrary to the way the world felt. So I thought, but I'm gonna explain that. But anyway, black people, some of them, were speaking aggressively against the actions of the rioters and looters, but had nothing to say against the racist cops that murdered George Floyd. And I was starting to see this thing. It was weird. It's like, they got more smoke for these people rioting and looting than they do for the racists who killed this innocent man and the system that would not give justice to these murderers. I thought that was strange. I'm going, man, this is weird. So mentally, I just documented it, just because the responses were just, they were there. So it was multiple people, and I'm like, man, that is very strange. It's very strange. So again, mentally documented. And again, this is stuff that I noticed during the writing. Now, this didn't happen during the writing, but this is a pattern that I've been seeing again my whole life, but I've never been able to pin it down, make sense of it. But I was noticing usually, and this is a whole different subject, usually when a black person is dating outside their race, some people are now calling it swirling, in which there's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. So long as you're a strong individual and you black first. I don't give a damn who you date, but you need to be black first, period, if you black. I'll explain that later. But anyway, and if your mate is understands the way you understand, has a strong conviction for your identity. You feel what I'm saying? Because we have been subjugated for too many years, 528 years to be exact. Now, anyway, so black a black person would justify dating outside their race by putting down. If you're a man, a black man, you would put down a black woman. If you're a black woman, you would say negative things about the black man, like I don't date black men because of this, or black man would say, well, I don't like to date. I date other women outside my race because black women are always angry, you know. And for a woman, she might say, well, black men, they beat on me or some shit. I don't fucking know. But they would justify what they're doing by putting down your own people. You see what I'm saying? And to me, that it was a pattern. And I didn't like the fact that you can date who you want, but you don't need to put your mouth on us. You know what I'm saying? Don't put no negative shit on your peoples. Do you. And just be happy doing you. But you don't need to put nothing negative on us. You understand what I'm saying? But it was a pattern. Okay, and I'm going somewhere with this, so just hang tight with me, right? And here's something else I noticed. And this is current. Blacks that divert attention by saying black on black crimes when they're forced, when they start to hear Black Lives Matter. I give an example. Black person is seeing and hearing stuff about Black Lives Matter, and instantly their go-to, or they divert to saying, well, if all black lives matter, then what about the black on black crime? Now, statistically, black on black crime, white on white crime, Chinese on Chinese crime, those are crimes of proximity. When black people kill other black people, it's publicized heavily. When white people kill each other, not so much. Now, you have to understand, the news media is a propaganda arm of the system of racism, white supremacy. The goal of the news outlets, ABC, NBC, CBS, is to paint white people, white society, in the best possible light. When something bad, when they do something horrible, it's not reported in a horrible light. You understand what I mean? A white man shoots thousands of people. He's a lone gunman. You know, basically telling the world, oh, that's just that one person doing that one thing, so that he's not tied to the whole entire white race. But when a black person kill another black person, all those crazy niggas in Chicago, they done killed 100 motherfuckers over the weekend. You know what I'm saying? It goes without fail, don't get me wrong. These things are happening, but the way they're being advertised is the trick. You understand what I'm saying? If you put equal attention on everybody's bad shit, you'll see a big difference. See, in the system of racism, white supremacy, the black man has to be the evil man. The black race has to be down here. White race up here. It's complete mind tricks. But we're talking about patterns right now, so hang with me because I'm going somewhere with this. Okay. Now, and like I mentioned earlier, the beauty of Facebook and social media is that you see thousands of bits of information in minutes, and you start to see patterns. And these are things that these patterns is what I'm mentioning to you, because these are patterns. I want us to look at the patterns and what do they mean in the system of racism, white supremacy, as far as black people go. What do they mean for us? Okay. Now, and again, I want y'all to watch the video that's going to be linked to this in the description box. It is because it'll further enlighten you on all the bullshit that you've been dealing with in your life personally. And my goal is to perhaps help some of y'all shift your thinking. Because whether you know it or not, we all fall into categories. And the system of racism, white supremacy, as it pertains to black people and I'm gonna just say specifically, let's say for black men, um, you're gonna fall into one of two categories, and they're polar opposites. So of course there's some stragglers in the middle, ain't made their mind up on where they gonna end up at, and it's almost not by choice. You're gonna automatically gravitate to one side or the other based on circumstances, knowledge, and a few other factors. You understand what I'm saying? And I'll tell you a story about me personally, where I almost ended up by accident. Okay? But anyway, all of these patterns are showing me something. And what I'm being shown is this. And Malcolm X spoke about this, and I may have mentioned this on another video. But in the system of racism, white supremacy, a black person is going to fall into one of two categories. One is going to either be the mentality of a house Negro or the field Negro. Again, Malcolm X, he mentioned that, and it almost, you could visualize in your mind what these two type of personalities look like. If you watch the movie Django, you had Stephen, played by Samuel Jackson, who was the house Negro. Django was the field Negro. You understand what I'm saying? So, why is that important? Well, it's important for this reason, specifically for men. And I'm a black man, so I'm going to speak for black men. In the system of racism and white supremacy, the black man in the social structure, you have, and this is universal, you have man, woman, boy, girl, and baby. Okay? Man, woman, boy, girl, and baby. And Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, she goes over this in her video. Now, in the system of racism, white supremacy, the white man is considered the man. The man. You feel what I'm saying? Now, if he is the man, where does that leave the black man? Woman, girl, boy, woman, boy, girl, or baby. You see what I'm saying? Now, all four of these are options. All four of them are options. This slot is already taken. Woman, boy, girl, baby. Now, this is a complex subject. My attempt is to make it kind of simplified. Okay? So, most black men don't want to be a woman. Most black men don't want to be a boy. We fought for centuries. Don't call me no boy. So, we don't want to be a woman, a girl, a boy. So, there's one left here, a baby. Okay? Now, when you see men walking around with their pants sagging, I sometimes get an image of a baby with their diaper sagging. I did not understand why. But I did get that image in my fucking head. So, and this was before I was turned on to this information. But that was the image I got. And there was a few other things that stood out. After seeing what I saw, they clicked. You know, your woman call you her baby. You know, your mama's house is your crib. All this little shit here is just subliminal. It's subconscious, you know. And again, watch her video. The shit is mind blowing. But anyway, I'm telling you all this to say this. In the system of racism, white supremacy, if you are not educated on what the system of racism, white supremacy is, as a black man, you will fall into these slots by default. If you're not directing your own actions and your own thoughts, if you're just being led by the system blindly, you're gonna fall into slots that you don't belong in. Okay? Now, let's say none of these categories fit you. You don't wear your pants sagging. You damn sure ain't a woman or a girl or no boy. So, black man, who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you? I will tell you who you are. Matter of fact, I got a definition pulled up on the screen right now. Now, this ain't every black man. Because, again, it's based on your mental awareness of what the fuck is going on around you and your understanding of the system of racism, white supremacy. But things come to me. I'm a spiritual fella. I used to be a religious person until I found out religion is bad. All of them. Bad. Just fucking bad. Watch some of my videos. Just go through them. Subscribe, share, like. Click the bell. Get notified when I make videos or go live. This shit is eye-opening. But a spiritual person is a person who understands that religious text came from somewhere. But person also understands that religion has tainted biblical texts and books. Matter of fact, religion was used to enslave every group of people on this planet. Period. And that's every religion. None are exempt. Please understand that. Religion is the indoctrination arm of the system of racism, white supremacy. I got a video talking about it. You can watch it. Now, if you follow me, you'll understand this stuff perfectly. Matter of fact, there is a short video that will explain to you, and I'll put that in the description as well, that explains to you the origin of all religions. That shit blew my mind when I saw it. I was like, ain't that a bitch? Woo! It's a short video, but the motherfucker is so impactful. Now, here we go. Now, as far as a black man is concerned, in the system of racism, white supremacy, where you got 5 categories of people: man, woman, boy, girl, and baby. In the system of racism and white supremacy, just by default and happen chance and the way things are set up on purpose, white man is considered the man, right? So where does that leave you, black man? I'm going to tell you, you have a strong inkling to becoming a beta male. That's right, a beta male. Now, I have a definition pulled up on the screen. Beta male. What is a beta male? By the very definition, beta male lives their lives based on the values and visions of other people. The values and visions of other people. Those other people are white people. They seek validation at every turn, and because they lack self-reliance meaning the ability to take care of yourself, and a strong sense of personal identity. Our identity was taken, stolen, misdirected. They fall into patterns of neediness and approval-seeking behavior. Okay? Now I'm going to click on this. What is beta male? Now, this says, being a beta male has nothing to do with your physical strength, financial success, or aptitude with women and dating. These external factors can serve as indicators of whether a man is an alpha or beta, but in and of themselves, they are insufficient to diagnose a man entirely as alpha or beta. Because the defining characteristics of a beta male is not their external success or lack thereof, but the driving force behind those successes. By very definition, and I think I just read this, yes. So, now, as a black man growing up in racist America, you seriously can easily fall into the category of a beta male by just living your life and just going along with the system without knowing it. Me personally, I could be a perfect example of this. And I'll just tell you my story straight out. You know, grew up in East Chicago Heights, Illinois. That's a southern suburb of Chicago, Illinois. And went to college, got a degree in electronic engineering. Me personally, I was I considered myself kind of lucky. I kind of knew what I wanted early on, and I pursued it, and I achieved it. Now, that didn't save me from falling into the snare of the system of racism and white supremacy. Even though I didn't live around a lot of white people, I wasn't influenced by a lot of white people. Here's what almost ended up happening to me. Now, of course, I grew up poor in the projects, so as far as voting went, Democrat was the way to go because growing up poor, the Democrats always seemed to look out for poor people, whereas Republicans did not seem to give a shit about poor people. See what I'm saying? But because I had a lot of success early on in life, at that point in time, I owned the largest black-owned pager repair center in Chicago, based on volume, and I mean we made a lot of money. Of course, there was when I first got into the paging business as a working for somebody else, learning the business, pagers were very expensive. Only doctors and lawyers had pagers. I mean, your monthly bill for a pager was sometimes as high as $45 a month. So when things changed, the government dumped huge amounts of cocaine in our neighborhoods. 80% of regular individual black men became dope dealers almost overnight. So everybody was getting pagers. And if somebody was in the business of fixing pages, you're going to make a lot of money. So that's what happened. Now, because I was so successful so quick, I thought, man, I must be doing everything right in life, making a lot of money. Life is good, Now, being a conservative means to be a Republican. Conserve means to keep shit the way it is. You want to conserve it. You want to keep it. Don't want nothing to change. Though at that time in life, I seriously considered voting Republican because I didn't want my life to fucking change. When you're making money, you don't want no changes. You want shit to be just the way the fuck it is. And that's for real, for real. You see what I'm saying? And so I had a slight conflict. It's like, man, I grew up my whole life Democrat. Well, I wasn't voting at the time. I voted a few times before that happened, but it was like, I know the Republican Party seems to help out black people, whereas the Republican Party always seemed racist, didn't give no fuck about black people. So why would I even consider voting Republican? Well, life is pretty good for me right now. I want shit to be conserved. I don't want shit to change. You know what I'm saying? So I almost fell into that trap of conservative. Y'all know what the fuck I'm trying to say. To being a conservative now. So, and this ain't about politics. It's about a mindset. And being a beta male or an alpha male. Or where you fall into the system if you blind to the system of racism and white supremacy. And my goal is for every black man to not be a beta male. My goal is for every black man to be an alpha male. To be the king of your own castle. Feel what I'm saying? And I'm going to get you there. Hey, look here. Follow me and I set you free. How about that? I'll guide you down the right path. Just hang in there tough with me. But anyway, so life is good for me. I'm feeling like, man, hey, if a poor kid from the projects can have this kind of success, then anybody can. You know what I'm saying? The people that don't make it, they lazy. They just ain't doing what they supposed to do. Not knowing there's a system in place to keep people trapped, to trip you the fuck up. I just said it 5 fucking seconds ago. The government dumped huge amounts of drugs into our neighborhoods with the sole purpose of fucking us up and making money in the meanwhile. What do I mean? Well, it's public information now, but it wasn't back then. Ronald Reagan was supporting the war in Contra. He couldn't get Congress to give him the money he needed, so he came up with this idea. Hey, they got cocaine over there. They would ship the cocaine here to America. Ronald Reagan would make sure that the drugs got into black neighborhoods. They making money from the black neighborhood, supporting the Contras, and at the same time, fucking the black people. Because now, these are drug dealers. They're going to supply you with money, drug up their whole neighborhood. Black people going to go down quick. I'm going to go get a lot of people locked into the jail systems, you know, and it's a win-win for them all the way around. And it's a lose-lose for us completely. You feel what I'm saying? But we didn't know this at the time. You had a lot of black men who had been disenfranchised by the system. Because look here, and I'm gonna just give you this little history lesson to tell you to show you why those drugs were dropped off in our neighborhoods on purpose. It's a system. It's a system, and the system is very consistent. The system of racism, white supremacy. If I was to write it on a board, this would be the system of racism, white supremacy equals white over non-white, with black on the bottom. And the color, the nationalities or color constraints is from the bottom up: black, red, brown, and yellow. And you probably heard this song. If you're black, get back. If you're red, you're dead. If you're brown, stick around. If you're yellow, you're mellow. And if you're white, you're all right. As kids, we just thought that was a song about colors. It was a song about how the system, or how white people felt about colored people. And I'm also going to wrap some up in this little thing here. Black, red, and brown. All us. Black, red, and brown. All us. This bullshit about brown and red people? No. Those other nationalities fall into yellow. Yellow. From Mexicans to Chinese to Asians. Yellow. The trick is they made us think we were somebody else. Although we're all varying shades of brown, some of us honestly think we're black. Like, it's a color. Now, don't get me wrong. By default, we're on team black. I'm B1 100%. But that's just the team. Just like white people aren't white. Them motherfuckers is like pink. You feel what I'm saying? They pale, they pasty. But anyway, that's a little sidetrack. But you see what I'm trying to tell you here. Now, poor kid from the projects, I made it. So here in my mind, I've got this elevated sense of myself. Just thinking, man, hell, I feel like you could drop me off in the middle of the damn jungle, and I'm gonna come out that bitch with a fur coat on. I'm feeling powerful in myself, like my abilities. You know what I'm saying? Again, not knowing everything that took place before I got into this position I'm in. So Ronald Reagan. I'm sorry, I almost forgot to tell you the story. Now, we go back to after they assassinated Dr. King and Malcolm X, because before him it was Marcus Garvey. And so the powers to be, CIA, the United States government, was thinking, we do not need another Malcolm X, another Martin Luther King, another Marcus Garvey. How did these people come into being? Who financially supported them? And they found out that the black family supported them financially. Monthly, in fact. Now, they say, okay, the black family is what made these people powerful and helped push them out there. We got to destroy the black family. So here's what they did. Used to be, years ago, you would have the man would work at a factory. The wife would be at home taking care of the kids. That factory job would be a job for life. So they say, you know what? Let's close down them factories. Let's move them factories to the suburbs where the white people lives. Let's send them to Mexico, them jobs. And they did just that. Used to be, you could graduate high school, certified as a plumber, electrician, a journeyman, carpenter. You see what I'm saying? They deindustrialized the inner city schools. I know when I was in school, I took my first year, you was exposed to small engines, electrical, plumbing, woodwork, and then the second year you would choose the one that interests you the most. And I chose electronics because that's where my heart was, always was as a kid. Now, They took all of that out of the schools. So you take the jobs out of the neighborhoods, you take the education for those trades out of the school, and now you have um, unions that are formed to further block black men from entering those trades. Okay? Now, you have a neighborhood where black men are finding, they're hard pressed to find income and jobs. So now the system creates the welfare system to give money to the woman and a place to live, low income housing, with the stipulation that there cannot be a man in your house over the age of 18. If there's a man in your house over the age of 18, you lose that ability to live in a low income housing. So now the woman is being taken care of by the government, which means that she no longer really needs a man who's there with her. So now she's self-reliant or reliant on the government. Her husband now is the government. See what I'm saying? So when the drugs hit, it made men feel like men again, because now they making money. They can support their families. You see what I'm saying? At the expense of possibly going to jail or losing your life. Harsh reality. This shit actually happened. What I'm telling you is technically exactly what the fuck the system did in response to crushing the black family. We have to be about the business of rebuilding the black family. That's why my goal is to teach as many people as I can, as quickly as I can, about this damaging system of racism, white supremacy. What we need to do to not have the negative effects of this system crush us any longer. And it's completely doable, and it's completely quick if you just watch that video in the description. Okay? Now, so that's what the system did to destroy the black family, and how it was directly linked to me making money late 80s, early 90s in the paging business. Because again, 90% of my customers was dope dealers. Because them was people who had pages. 90%. Now, of course, the other 10% was regular people, because pager bills went down from $45 a month to now $15 and $10 a month. So it was accessible to everybody. Everybody had a fucking page. So I was making money hand over fist, thinking, oh, it's just me. I'm really doing good. I must be the smartest motherfucker in the world. All the while, the system is grooming me, unbeknownst to me, to become what I consider a house Negro. What do I mean? When a black man has high self-esteem, but low cultural or group esteem, like as far as my people go, I don't think shit about them. I could care less about what the fuck they got going on, because it's all about me. That equation breeds house Negro. 100%. We don't know that, but that's exactly what happens. You have to have high self-esteem and high group esteem. That's the word I'm trying to use, group. Okay? But when we out here doing our own thing, living our best white lives, we are being turned into house Negroes, because it should never been about me. It should have always been about us. That's the reason we grow up as black people hating each other, is because we have high self-esteem, low group esteem. But we need to get that on an even level. We need to have high self-esteem and high group esteem. And the only way we could have that is to understand the system of racism, white supremacy. And that we have been our open enemies have been at war with us for 528 years, since 1492. And I know we always hear that term of 1619, when they supposedly brought the first African slaves over here. Big lie, big misdirection, huge misdirection. Watch my videos on that. And matter of fact, I'm going to put Kurimio Aha's video in the description as well, because he explains, in his chronology and research is excellent on the fact that the transatlantic slave trade not only happened in reverse, it was a cover for the real transatlantic, the real slave trade that took place on this continent. Okay? Now, I don't want to get too sidetracked on those topics. That's why I'm going to put those videos in the description because you need to watch those. Everybody needs to watch those. Okay? So, I was becoming a house Negro. Even though I had my own business and I felt independent, didn't have any racial problems, no white people telling me what to do, no white people around me being all over me, none of that. None of that. Matter of fact, most of y'all don't have that issue. But what you do have is you get up, you go to work every day, you take care of your family. You think you are an African slave, but you are not. You are an Aboriginal American. So you have no true identity of yourself. Your income is derived from the system of racism, white supremacy, whether you self-employed or not. You understand what I'm saying? So, now, like I said, Terry Crews has been in the news lately saying stuff specifically about what I mentioned earlier about all lives matter. Or what he said was, he says, well, we got to be careful that Black Lives Matter don't turn into Black Lives are better, meaning like we become black supremacists. You understand what I'm saying? So you would think in your mind, why would a black man even give a shit about these thoughts? Like, we got bigger fucking fish to fry, man. You know what I'm saying? You way the fuck in the wrong spot in this time going on. But I'm looking at it from my perspective. His perspective is he's a high-paid, highly influential house Negro. You know, he high self-esteem, low group esteem. You understand what I'm saying? And he may think he's pro-black. He really may believe that with his whole soul and being. But it ain't based on what you believe. It's based on your actions. Whenever somebody say something to you about Black Lives Matter and you instantly deflect to black on black crime and shit like that, that's proof that you are a house Negro or you have some inklings of house Negro in you. You understand what I'm saying? And somebody said, well, how is it I'm a house Negro if I believe that all lives matter or that there is black on black crime? Well, there is black on black crime. And there's also Chinese on Chinese crime and Mexican on Mexican crime. But what you don't realize is that black on black crime is advertised heavily more than all the other crimes. All the other crimes are happening at the same time, but they're not heavily advertised to you. Because the system of racism, white supremacy needs for you to be evil. That's why it's advertised to you. And I'm going to tell you another trick, because it's all advertisement. ABC, NBC, CBS News are the propaganda arm of the system of racism, white supremacy. Every TV show you watch, every history lesson you've learned were propaganda arms of the system of racism, white supremacy. When a black man dates and marries a white woman, people will say that, oh, you can't predict who you're going to fall in love with. That's bullshit. Who you going to date and fall in love with is as predictable as what the fuck you going to eat for dinner tonight. Because it's advertised to you. Driving home from work and you hear a McDonald's fucking commercial, it's a good chance that your ass going to go pick up a hamburger from McDonald's. Advertised. As a black man in America, we are advertised heavily that a white woman is what we need to be a successful person in life. What do I mean? Nobody comes out and says, hey, black man, get you a white woman and be successful. No. It's just that we grow up seeing white women on TV. You know, Leave It to Beaver, Charlie's Angels. You fucking name it, they there. Even the nasty fucking movies, Debbie Does Hollywood and shit, is all white people when I was coming up. I don't know what the hell it is now, but back then it was. So me, I almost fell for the same thing. I've dated white women. I just got fucking lucky. I got lucky and I grew out of that phase or whatever the fuck it was, and I'm married to a beautiful black woman. thank you. Woo, thank you. Feel me? So, but I'm not saying that dating a white person or any race is bad. What I'm saying is the reason we do what we do is because of advertisement. You are heavily advertised that your neighborhood is bad, your woman is bad. You see what I'm saying? And when you couple that with high self-esteem and low group esteem, you're gonna have successful black people. The minute they get successful, they're gonna go find themselves a Becky. If it happened once or twice, it would be just considered a coincidence. But when it happens thousands of times, over and over, it's a pattern. It's a pattern of behavior. And it's not our fault. We are simple victims of the system. The system does not want strong black families. They go out their ways to destroy the family, the black family unit. What do I mean? Every commercial you see, and start looking for this shit. Every commercial you see from now on, you're gonna see a black man with a different race woman, or a black woman with a different race man. They do not promote black couples. They do that on purpose. And it's subliminal. You see what I'm saying? Strong black family is the biggest enemy of the system of racism, white supremacy. Watch the video. It'll be in the description. It's going to blow your mind, man. You know, we have to be vigilant. We have to know what this system is, how it operates, and what we need to do as men, strong black alpha men, to combat the negative effects of this on ourselves and on our children. Because again, just the way Ronald Reagan dropped all that dope off in our cities, and then they created the 3-strike laws. All this shit got tough on crime. How the hell you gonna give a motherfucker the dope and then lock him up for having the damn dope? But that's exactly what the fuck they did. You can't make this shit up, man. It's fucking weird. But here, that being, it is what it is. We can't harper on the past. We got to see what this for what it is, come up with a plan, and move out, move differently. Okay. Now that being said, Terry Crews is no more than a high-paid, influential house Negro. That's why he moves the way he moves. That's why he thinks the way he thinks, and that's why he do what he do. Such as Candace Owens, Officer Tatum, those twin boys, the twin men that are conservatives. You understand what I'm saying? These are patterns of behavior. I don't even think they understand what they, But see, and here's why that behavior is dangerous. It's dangerous to be a house Negro because we're at war, and we have been at war for 528 years. If you are a house Negro, you are an enemy to your people. You are a traitor, and you are a treacherous traitor to your people. You are a weapon used against your people, and you don't even know it. Because you think that you are, you think differently than everybody else. Everybody else is just seeing things in a negative light. Hell, there is no racism. You just need to go out there and work hard and stop blaming people for everything and stop being a victim in your mind, right? These are the things that those people are made to believe to support their reality. And none of it is true. I mean, we have been at war for so long, we don't even know it. I'm not sure if I can get into this with you or not, but when I say we have been at war for 528 years, here's the long and short of it. Christopher Columbus came to the West Indies, the Bahamas Islands, in 1492 started enslaving the indigenous Aboriginal Americans. The definition, no, I won't go into that, but anyway, started enslaving them. 6 months later, he was given the stamp of approval from the Roman Catholic Church via Pope Alexander VI, decreed it that he had the right to colonize and enslave the indigenous people of the Americas. Okay? So, at that point, when you decree something, you make a declaration. You declare. So, war was declared on the Aboriginal American. The Aboriginal American is you and I. Our ancestors were enslaved, shipped from America and the Caribbean islands to every other place on this planet. Now, that slave trade that I told you that the transatlantic slave trade was a cover for was actually called, and you can Google search this, and I may put that in the description as well. It was called the International Indigenous American Slave Trade. People, you can't make this shit up. These are all Google searches. Google searches that are in dictionaries and encyclopedias. But the system of racism, white supremacy can't allow you to look at it. It says, hey, go look this way, go look that way. Don't look. You don't need to look at that. That's nonsense. Those are Indians. Those are Mongolians that were here. Not you people. That's what they say. Anyway, so being that we have been at war, we were enslaved, because when you consider someone at war with you, you can take in those people as chattel slaves, and that's what happened. So, not only were we slaves, we were prisoners of war. So we are the descendants of prisoners of war. There were 94 documented Indian wars here in the Americas between the year 1540 and 1923, with the sole purpose of enslaving captives, enslaving the Indians, aka us. Again, look up the definition, or just you'll see it in the description. The International Indigenous American Slave Trade was covered. It was given another name. It's called the Transatlantic Slave Trade, where supposedly we were Africans from West Africa. And here's what they did. They would lock some of us up in Florida, put us on a boat, ship us to New York. When we got off that boat, we were Africans from West Africa. People, you can't make this shit up. It's how can I say this? These people were sloppy. They were sloppy because the proof is everywhere. But if your mind is tainted and you don't understand racism, white supremacy, even when you see it, you're gonna be so fucking confused. You won't believe it. I'm gonna give you an example. I said that you were an Aboriginal American. Did I not say that? AKA an Indian. As a matter of fact, the Indians in your history book are a Mongolian breed of Asians that came across the Bering Straits 12,000 years ago. This is documented by paleontologists. Now, in the description box, I'll put this. I'll say the name and you Google it. It's gonna be called. It's a Google search. Now, this is proof that you, black man, or black woman, are an Aboriginal American. Now, I want you to go find a 1-cent copper penny that closely matches the color of the back of your hand. Okay, and you don't see this one is damn near identical to mine. A little shiny, but it's damn near identical. Now Google 1828 definition of American. It's gonna tell you exactly who you are. Now, you do another search. Google just the definition of American. Two total different definitions. Now you ask yourself, why has that first definition from the year 1828 been hidden from you? Hidden from you. You see what I'm saying? These people have always known who you were. And they've been hoping you've never found out who you are. Because believe it or not, it's an issue of land rights. This continent belongs to you and I. Period. Do you think they want you to know that this your home? No. Because why? Because at that point, you become the man. You feel me? Listen, people. Like I say, you can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. It's so fucking crazy. You can't make this shit up. Now, again, this was about putting together patterns, you know, and again, that definition is important because it describes who you are, and you have been at war since 1492. Okay, the only person who don't know they're at war is you, but you exhibit all the signs of battle fatigue. All the signs of battle fatigue because you have been at war. Post-traumatic slave syndrome, post-traumatic stress syndrome, you have them all. Our people go crazy and don't even know why every day. Me personally, I would cry sometimes and not even know why the fuck I'm crying to myself. A grown-ass man just break out and just overwhelmed and don't even know why. You feel what I'm saying? That's called battle fatigue and stress. You're a prisoner of war, black man. You're a prisoner of war, black woman. But I'm telling you right now, your war can end right now. Get educated on the system of racism, white supremacy, because that's your biggest enemy. Biggest enemy. Once you understand that system, and you understand you don't need to be in that system. What do I mean being in that system? Well, just what I'm saying. When a black man and a black woman come together and form a strong black family, that's power in itself. Then you take that strong black family and you build strong black businesses, independent from white people. And then other people who live around you do the same thing. And y'all economically lock arms and hands and trade amongst each other. Your money starts to flow in and out of each other's hands 18, 20, 30 times before it leaves your communities. We start to build black Wall Streets in every community on this continent. That's how you eliminate the negative effects of racism and white supremacy off the lives of black people. And then those communities, which we did not have during Black Wall Street in Tulsa, during those other small cities that got burned down, is a strong security force protecting our properties against those white fucking devils that every time we stood for betterment and did good for ourselves, they come along because of white rage. There's another video I'm going to put in the description, White Rage by Carol Anderson. It's a powerful video. But because we didn't understand our enemy, we didn't protect ourselves from that very same enemy. Ourselves, we were left wide open. And they tore them down. Each and every fucking time. And it will happen again if you don't know better. So when you build something that's worth something, you protect it. I believe every black man, every black woman, every black home should be armed, should have guns. Your kids should know gun safety and how to shoot, as well as your wife. You see what I'm saying? That's why I was so proud to see over the 4th of July weekend, the NFAC, the Not Fucking Around Coalition, Not Fucking Around crew, and the black, it's called the Black Militia. So very proud to see that. But another thing that I did notice was a lot of black YouTubers, influential people, they didn't speak about it at all and still haven't. And that's because of the system of racism, white supremacy. We're afraid. We're afraid. That kind of black strength and unity is not only makes white people afraid. Guess what? It makes black people afraid because we are under white people. You know, if it pisses off white people, then we don't want it. If it scares white people, we don't want it. We don't want massa scared and afraid. You see what I'm saying? How sick that is? Some sick shit. But it's reality. And it's my goal to end that cycle of madness for the lives of everybody who follows me. Because once you get to a point, you will start to teach people this so that they can understand it. This ain't for you to just sit on and you know, just have for yourself. We ain't finna be selfish like that. Okay? Now, again, this video was specifically about patterns and patterns that I was recognizing. And what are these patterns saying to me? When you see certain black people who seem to say things that hurt us as a group, those people, unbeknownst to even them probably, have a house Negro mentality. They are a danger to the rest of us because we are at war. They are dangerous to us, and because they don't even know we at war. Now, can these people be reached? Can I call up Terry Crews and say, Terry, man, listen, can I just talk to you for, I don't know, a couple of hours, man, because you know you have been placed in a position to influence a lot of people, but right now you're taking people down the wrong path. Terry, my man, that's dangerous, and I'm gonna need you to stop it immediately. And here's how you can stop it. I can't just call that man up and have no conversation like that. You know why? It's too direct. It's something he's got to come on his own to that understanding. If he happens to see a video like this and it starts to make sense to him. But people in those positions, people like a Candace Owens, Officer Tatum, Oprah Winfrey, damn, they're all sports figures, actors, celebrities. These people are compensated. They're well paid to keep the mind of the masses confused and misdirected. You see what I'm saying? They do not. These people could overnight change the trajectory of black people, but the system knows that, and that's why the system compensates them very well. Because how do you keep people from being motivated to change? You turn them into conservatives. What I tell you when I first started this video, I almost became a conservative because I didn't want shit to change. When a person's pockets is fat, guess what they don't want? They don't want change. They want their pockets to stay fat. So that shit'll shake up the system for them. They can't have that. You know what I'm saying? So those people, because of their circumstances and situations, we have to treat them as just people to stay away from. People to not be influenced by. Because they're going to lead you right back into slavery. You understand what I'm saying? Because they're comfortable being enslaved. That's what they bread and butter is. That's where they're making a lot of money. And freedom ain't about money, per se, completely. Freedom is about you being your own man, you being your own woman, on your own land. This shit belongs to you. This shit belongs to you and I. Ain't no way we could be second-class citizens on our own fucking land. No more. No more. You understand what I'm saying? So, when you know better, you do better. You move differently. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, please, join this channel, subscribe to this channel, hit the bell so you can be notified. Share it out to as many people as you can. And it ain't about beating nobody upside the head with truth. You understand what I'm saying? It's about just slowly dripping and sprinkling a little bit of truth here, a little bit of truth there. And the way the human brain works is we like to learn new things. But if the new things hurt, we'll avoid them. You know what I'm saying? But when the time comes where that new thing is needed, it'll be logged away and a person will revisit it. And it won't hurt so much the second time, or the third time, or the fourth time. You understand what I'm saying? This new information that you've learning is going to hurt. All your life you grew up thinking you was an African slave. And I'm telling you, no, you're an Aboriginal American. But I'm not only telling you this, I'm directing you to a Webster's Dictionary definition from 1828 that tells you exactly who the fuck you is. These ain't my words. This is documented in a book proof. Every explorer that came here before Christopher Columbus and after him described the people they saw when they came here. The description was the Aboriginal Americans are copper colored, and some of them said they have very much the Negro in them. The reason the lie was able to stick that we're Africans from West Africa is we're all melanated beings. We're all melanated people. We look African because we're melanated. But this continent, from Canada to South America, from the northern tip of Canada to the southern tip of South America, was one big continent, or still is one big continent. And everybody on that motherfucker looked like us. And that's why it's in the definition from the year 1828. That definition, that description was floating around for hundreds of years before they put it in Webster's dictionary. And it came from multiple different witnesses. They said that the Aboriginal American is copper colored. Copper colored. Copper colored. That's you and me, man. And guess what? Google the definition of the color of the 1-cent copper penny. It'll tell you that it's brown and or red. Brown and or red. What were the Indians called? The red man. And remember earlier I told you had the black, the red, the brown? Those three groups of people has always been us. Everybody else is either yellow, the Mongolian breed of Asian, which is the Eskimo, the Mexicans, the Chinese, and then, of course, the white people. Yellow and white. Every other color that we've heard was describing us. Black, red, brown. Black, red, brown. And they simply, slickly slid it in that these brown people were Mexicans. These red people were Indians. No, my nigga. I didn't mean to call you a nigga. I'm sorry. I apologize. I took a liberty. Please forgive me. But no. Hell no. Black, red, brown has always been the melanated people. You and I. Simple. See how the misdirection works? It's like a magic fucking trick, man. It's crazy, right? So, again, I'm gonna sum this up because basically it's about patterns, and the patterns have presented themselves, and the conclusion is this. As a black man, as a black woman, you are one of two mindsets. You are either a house Negro or you are a field Negro. And if you was to make a choice, I would hope that you would want to be a field Negro. Because a field Negro wants change. A field Negro has high self-esteem and high group esteem. Okay? Don't be a house Negro. Don't be Kanye West. Don't be Terry Crews. Don't be Oprah Winfrey. Don't be George Floyd. Not George Floyd. I apologize. Rest in peace. Don't be the boxer, Floyd Mayweather. You see what I'm saying? These people all have high self-esteem, low group esteem. But they may go to their grave thinking they was down for their people. But there's no proof of that. There's no proof of that. Because if you was down for your people, the system of racism, white supremacy would kick you out. They can't have you being down for your people while they support you. You see how that works? And these influencers, I'm pretty sure they know this. I'm pretty sure they know this because that would offend massa. And they don't want massa to be offended. You see how this works? But and here's the trick. If enough influencers could step back and not be offended by what I'm saying, and trust me, it would offend me if somebody told me I was a house nigga. Now, if they could explain it to me and it made sense, then I would be less offended and maybe I would be apt to change. You see what I'm saying? Because my goal ain't to piss anybody off. Really, it ain't. My goal is to change my people as quick as possible. If I could get through to an Oprah type, if I could get through to a Terry Crews type, and after talking to them and they say, wow, you know what? I did not know these things took place. My head has been in the sand. Brother, what can I do to really help my people? And this is exactly what I would tell them. Simple. Simple. Let you and me, make Dr. Francis Cress Welsing video go viral. Let's put it on billboards in every black city. Let's buy commercial time on the internet, on national news organs, and play that video. Broadcast it out to the world. You understand what I'm saying? Let black people know this system is not only alive and well, but it's been the thing that's been beating us down invisibly on a minute by minute basis for hundreds of years. Because what I've just told you is like the tip of the iceberg. Tip of the iceberg. Black Americans are a special group of people. Very special group of people. We are ancient. We are a wondrous group of people. Think about this. Damn near every invention known to man, damn near every one of them came from the mind, here in America anyway, from the mind of a black American who was thought to be a slave from West Africa. We have pyramids in South America that are older, better built, and bigger than any pyramid in Africa. These pyramids were built first. This is the strength and power of who you are. You understand what I'm telling you? And that's why you've been so misdirected and so lied to. Because you are God's jewelry. God's most precious gifts. Do you know King James, the fellow who commissioned the writing of the New Translation Bible? He not only created the Royal African Shipping Company in 1660, I believe, with the intent of covering up the real slave trade. That company was a pirating operation, and you can watch that in my videos. But King James rewrote the Bible to hide the fact that this continent is Eden. This continent is Eden. This continent is the Garden of Eden. Look, I didn't. This video wasn't one to be going that deep. Feel what I'm saying? But what I'm trying to tell you is, what I want to give you a little inkling of is just how special, just how wondrous you are, and just how powerful you are. You understand what I'm saying? So I need for you to watch the video that's going to be in the descriptions. How many of them it is? It'll probably be 3 or 4 of them. And then reach out to me. If you want more information, I'll provide more information. You know, I teach as well. It's video conferencing. We meet one day out of each week for 4 weeks. It's a live video conference, and I give you the directions. You go watch what you need to watch. We come back, we discuss it, and I give you some more homework for the following week, and we do this again for 4 weeks. We meet one day out of the week. You understand? And my goal is to teach this to as many people as I can, as quick as I can. You know? And this information is so needed. So needed. And it's so precious. I fight every day to just have the knowledge to say, hey, how can I get this out to as many people as I can, quick as I can, and have them to really, for it to stick, to make sense to them. But even myself, I have to understand that we have been so damaged, miseducated, misdirected, lied to by the system of racism, white supremacy, that it's going to be a process. And I have to be okay with that. You know, I really have to be okay with that. I'm not okay with it because I want shit to be like that for us. I want for all of us to walk in our full strength and glory. You understand what I'm saying? But that ain't reality right now, and I'm good. I'm okay with that. But you know, anybody who has a large platform, please reach out to me because you need to get up to speed on this so you can give it out to your people comfortably. My goal is that you get this information, you 100% understand it. So when you speak it with conviction and truth, because it is truth and it's convictable. You understand what I'm saying? But you don't need just a little bit here and a little bit there. You need the fullness of this understanding. I want to sit down and talk and teach you this. I want to direct you to this information, so to speak. I'm not going to teach you this. I'm going to direct you to the information that I was directed to. You understand what I'm saying? You know, and I'm telling you, these videos will be the best thing you do today and tomorrow. I'm watching this. Dr. Francis Cress Welson's video, Professor Carol Anderson's video I'm gonna put in there, White Rage, Kirimio Aha's video, part 1 from Indigenous American to African American. You know, of course, I'll type in the real slave trade that took place on this continent, the international indigenous American slave trade, and the definition, the 1828 definition of American. Okay, because you are the only true American. Everybody else here on this continent are foreigners. Foreigners. You are the only true citizen. You're the only one have rights to this continent given by the Almighty. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, but anyway, again, patterns, house Negroes, field Negroes. You know, be a field Negro. Don't be a house Negro. You know, be very useful to your people. Don't be a treacherous traitor to your people. Okay? On that note, I'm going to end this video, but do please subscribe, share, and like. Hit the bell to be notified when I make new videos or go live, okay? All right, I love each and every one of you. Peace out.